Hello and welcome back to North Valley Viewpoints. Today we're talking about hospice care, and we are rejoined by Bronson Pittman, who is chaplain at Butte Home Health and Hospice, and also Amy Asher. Thanks for being with us, Amy. Amy is a social worker with Community Care Options. And Amy, if we could begin by explaining exactly what is Community Care Options.
Well, Community Care Options is a small business in Chico that is a senior referral and placement agency for no cost to seniors and their families. We do assessments and we help the elderly find the best placement possible, if that's staying at home or going into a facility. So we do assessments and look at their level of care. And then we also do education in the community for caregivers and administrators of facilities.
It's a tough point in a family's life, if you will,
Yes.
at which point you have to consider placing your loved one outside the home. I mean, even just considering it, I think brings a lot of guilt for people.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot of resistance, and I talk to family members all the time about, how do I get mom to, move? How do I encourage her to do that? And it's definitely not an easy process.
A lot of guilt. You were even talking about that, how we deal with that, need to deal
Right,
with it.
it's again an acknowledgement on the part of the family that the person's needs are increasing. Oftentimes the person is entering hospice care at the same time, and we're trying to partner with Community Care Options to find a place where they can receive that 24-hour support that they need, because family members are stretched so much in trying to provide that within the home setting.
Because not everyone is able to quit their job and stay at home with a loved one, and even if you are, that can bring a lot of consequences for the person who is staying at home.
Definitely, for their own health as well as financially, it means a tremendous sacrifice.
So you work very closely then with hospice and educating people about
most
their
of
options.
most of the clients that we're serving are facing the end of their life, some of them are on hospice. So we're looking at facilities that are able to meet that hospice need, so they can die in their own home, even if it isn't a facility.
Your mom was the founder of the business, right?
Yes.
And I know she was also very active in hospice.
Yes, she was, and she recently passed away from a 2-year battle with cancer. But prior to that, she started Community Care Options, and she worked in hospice and educated people and taught classes on hospice. It was really she was very passionate about hospice and the quality of care for seniors.
And you said even still, it was a struggle for you to actually make that decision to get involved with hospice care for your mom.
Yeah, we both were really reluctant. Having both been social workers in the field, we had family discussions, and for some reason we just really didn't want to make that acknowledgement that it was time for hospice. But we're really glad that we did, because it made an incredible difference in her quality.
How did it help both your mom and your family, yourself?
Well, yeah, there was many benefits. I think most importantly, as soon as hospice came in, Butte Home Health came in, her quality of life increased in a matter of a couple of days, because they were able to, with Dr. Brown, look at her medications, make adjustments so that she was comfortable. She had a lot of symptoms. They were able to quickly go in and fix that. And what was neat is that then she was able to interact more with us. We were able to have quality time with her. During those final weeks, she was able to request people that she wanted to see. Just her quality went up, and that was wonderful.
And made it easier for you as a result, because obviously she was your first priority.
Yes,
and
absolutely,
her needs.
Absolutely.
I think that points out one of the strengths of hospice care as well, is that ability to respond quickly, which we saw with Eileen. And Eileen, both a professional relationship that I had with her, as well as being a personal friend, someone that I really relied on over these last 8 years that I've been involved in hospice care. And we were able to bring medications. If one thing didn't work, we tried something else. And there isn't the delay that you often have in going back to the physician, waiting for orders to be written, waiting in line, long lines at a pharmacy. Things could happen much faster, and we often would bring out the medications within hours, I believe. I think,
absolutely. And the environment was so nice. I mean, I don't think there's any replacement for being in your own home. And we were able to make her room, just as she wanted it. We could sleep there. We could come at all hours. We could make it very peaceful and quiet. I mean, I've been in a lot of hospitals, and it's really hard to find peace, quiet. Soft music, aromatherapy. We're really able to make that environment very nice.
Advice you would have for family members as they, set out upon making that decision or reaching out?
Yeah, I just think that, not to wait, and that, what struck me, and Dr. Brown mentioned this, is that, bringing on hospice doesn't mean that you're giving up hope. And I think I had to be reminded of that too, is that you don't have to give up hope, and for families to keep that in mind.
You would add to that?
Right, and the benefits of that is coming on at a point where we can provide that real support and improve and enhance quality of life. And Eileen, in particular, had weeks then where she could have that engagement with family, and she was one, being a social worker, she knew the kinds of things she needed to do to express those deep emotions that we have for one another. And hospice, when you recognize you have a life-limiting illness, suddenly all those important things in life really come up to the surface, and you're able to say, I need to see this person, I need to talk to this person, I need to be able to share my life with that person before the time comes. Whereas if you don't acknowledge that, so often the conversation is impeded because no one wants to talk about those things. I don't want to say goodbye because I'll see you again. I'll see you next week, next month, next year, and there's a real lack of reality that people experience.
Yeah, I mean, there were most days she would have a list of people for me to call that she wanted to have brought in to see and talk to, and that was really neat. And I also wanted to make the point that Butte Home Health was great with educating us as a family on how to care for my mom, and so we got to be included in that process. And I think back on that, and I'm really grateful for that we were able to help care for her, and we were educated and having conferences and always knowing what was going on, and that was just really nice.
And we have about a minute left. We want to tell people where to go for more. They want more information, whether it be just about hospice, possibly interested in but I know there's some websites. Butte Home Health Hospice has a website.
Right, ButteHomeHealth.com is a resource that people can access. If they're in other surrounding communities, to contact the local hospice organization in their community, speaking to the physician about it. Home health agencies often have relationships with hospices as well, or the hospital. All those are various avenues that people can choose, and organizations like Community Care Options is a wonderful resource for families who are struggling with these care issues and end-of-life issues.
So many families are. Again, some really good information, and thank you both for sharing with us. And we encourage you to look for yourself, to go online, to pick up a phone, to feel free to inquire more about hospice if you have any questions that need answered. Thank you both again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. That does it for us today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you back here next time.